After a year of dealing with COVID on the streets of New Orleans and the advent of vaccines, the challenge has eased just a little bit.
But in the midst of the pandemic and the rise in social consciousness, a darker, more dangerous threat to paramedics and EMTs came to light, as Heath Allen reveals through the eyes of first responders.
And at the end of the day, I always remember one thing: it's an emergency for them, and not to take it personal.
For paramedics and EMTs, it's tough enough already on the streets of New Orleans. But over the past year and beyond, it has gotten worse. Incidents of physical assault on the rise.
He wanted to attack me. So, unfortunately, I had to leave the lady alone for a minute to stand up to protect myself. Myself comes first.
New Orleans EMS walks into homes already in trauma. Drugs, alcohol, weapons, mental illness, anger, all wait on the other side of the door. Ty Walton has seen it firsthand too. His weapons, calm and a reason.
Honestly, talking. You try your best to just talk to them and make sure that they're not, there's no miscommunication or anything, or there's no misunderstanding, and you make sure that they understand why they can't be left in a place where they won't get the proper medical treatment that they need.
So they're just acting out of fear, out of worry, out of concern, or, again, it can be a medical emergency or a traumatic emergency. It's an emergency.
But too often it goes even further than that. EMTs and paramedics used to dealing with emergency, used to dealing with trauma, even the occasional assault. But in a city known for its diversity, too often racism raises its ugly head.
I've been called Uncle Toms, and I've been called all kind of coons and spooks and things like that.
Just like his colleagues, Eugene McMillan is in the business of saving lives. At times, though, finding himself unwelcome in white households, even in the midst of crisis because of his race.
It bothers me. However, I can't hold on to that. If I let it bother me, I can't go help the next person that actually wants my help. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna treat you just like I treat anybody I encounter, as if they were the president of these United States, which is dignity and respect.
Dealing with overt racism amid chaos and danger, while at the same time trying to save a life, takes more than just training. It takes courage, focus, and a heart bigger than the calamity.
So it doesn't matter, if what they call me or treat me or whatever, as long as I treat them. My main thing is I always try to treat every patient like my own family member. How would I want my family to be treated?
The challenges add up. The obvious stress of the job, the physical and medical dangers, the mental stress brought on by verbal abuse, everyday life, or even loss at home. The combination takes its toll.
So I'll say, I'm going to be honest with you, things have been hard. Right now we have more people out with mental health issues than we do with COVID symptoms.
And that is another harsh reality, and one that, like COVID, must be faced head on.
I think people are really, really having a hard time. We've had a huge amount of turnover recently, and people just saying, I need a change.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, and so we still, I believe, have not seen the full effects of how this is going to weigh on many people's hearts and souls.
But is there a silver lining to all of this? Yes, there is. What about the number of people who stepped up, paid and volunteer alike, in the midst of that COVID pandemic to help this city? Their stories coming up through the eyes of first responders. Heath Allen, WDSU News.